Hello fellow modelers, Bruce here. In this video we will go through the build of a classic. Another older kit manufacturer, Alexander Scale Models, which was out of Michigan. And they had a number of very popular kits back in the day, and one of them was their haunted house, which is what this kit is. Their coaling tower was another classic, and they had a little derrick that was very popular. They had quite a few pretty neat little kits. This can be built either as a haunted house, dilapidated, shutters hanging crooked and boards pried loose, or you can make it into a very nice Victorian house. And that's my goal. I am going to try to do that. Now, this has been in the hands of several other modelers before it got to me, and I'm hoping that a few of the key parts have not warped over time, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. But I would like to make this into a very nice, well-upkept house, and we'll probably call it Quinn's Quiet Corner, B&B, a bread and breakfast, named after great-granddaughter Quinn, who's the next in line in the great-grandchild build. So we'll see what we have here. Now it's of the age of die-cut walls, which means they're stamped, the window openings, and you have to cut them out, and same with the door openings and so forth. No nice little booklets of instructions like you see sometimes today, but rather very large sheets. Here's the house made up like a haunted house. You can see shutters hanging crooked and boards pried up and so forth. But step by step in the various assemblies, the three plain walls, the wall that has the bay windows and so forth on it, etc., etc. So, yeah, at Grand Rapids, Michigan, it'll be a bit of a challenge because of the mansard roof that's on it, as you can see here in the picture. Those are never easy to construct. This is a second sheet. This is the diagrams of each section going together. And again, they're all in good shape. I'll do what I usually do and photocopy key ones so that they are easier for me to handle. Here's that wall with the bay window and so forth. That's a little in various parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 parts go into that. And there's that mansard roof. And that's what I'm most worried about. Most of the subroofs, the floors and so forth are out of cardstock, which are also die cut and have to be cut out. And these are the parts of the frames for the mansard roof. That's one of the two floors, either the bottom floor or the middle floor. I don't know if you can see the die cuts. If I hold them at different angles, perhaps you'll see it. All has to be cut out. And then here's the roofing material. And again, it's made out of I don't think it's a plastic, it's not a resin either, but it's a vinyl of some type. And you just gotta hope that they're not warped too badly so that you can make them up into to the roof. So that'll be the biggest challenge on this build. Besides the walls, which I'll show you in a minute, strip wood for bracing and trim. All of the window castings are white metal. I will shortly take them all out, file off any rough spots, clean them up, and then give them a spray coat of a primer. And I've already done that to the walls. Since it's winter time here in Michigan, I wanted a warm day in the garage, so I went out and primed the walls. And again, perhaps at a certain angle you can see the die cuts for all of the windows and doors and so forth that are on these walls. They all have to, like this sheet has 2 walls, this sheet has several walls, so they all have to be cleaned up. But I'm probably going to wait till tomorrow, where it's supposed to get above 50 again, go out and give them an overcoat of a tan or beige color, which will be the color I want the walls. So yeah, I'll come back with updates from time to time, and we'll go through the build of this classic. Talk to you then. One of the first tasks that I'm taking on here is to clean up the window and door castings for this Alexander Scale Models Haunted House Kit. And these are white metal, and I don't care who the manufacturer is. Usually, especially if they're metal castings, you need to clean up some flash. These are extremely good. These are about as clean as you can find in a metal casting. And the amount of flash you have, depends on a number of factors, one of which is how good the mold is to begin with, but also how old the mold is, because as it's used and used and used and gets worn a little bit, you tend to get more and more flash. So I can pretty much surmise that first of all, it was a very well-made mold, and secondly, this one is not very old because the amount of flash is negligible. So I've cleaned off these 5 windows in both doors. One door has a little bit of inside flash around the inside of the door frames there that's a little bit tough to get off, but I think it'll look okay. I'll run a little bit of emery cloth over it yet before I spray paint it. So I still have 11 windows of the rectangular windows and then all the arched windows. And just to show you that how quick it is, I use my larger Nicholson mill file to clean up the flash on the outside. And again, very little flash compared to an awful lot of the metal windows that I've used over the years. Matter of fact, some of them are so bad that I end up not using them and try to get plastic windows of the same size. And there's a little bit of flash on the bottom of each window, very thin, and it cleans up very quickly with one of my smaller modeling files. Very clean on the insides, actually. So that one is about done. I just want to show you that as clean as they are, there's the pile of filings that I've accumulated so far by cleaning up those 5 windows and 2 doors. And so this is something that would be noticeable if you didn't clean them up. So you want to do that. All right, talk to you again soon. Well, it's update time. The walls for the Alexander Scale Models Haunted House are painted. I used a rattle can and painted the walls with that. Turned out to have a finish that was a little bit too glossy for my liking, so I gave it an overspray of a matte, clear finish. And now it suits my needs at this point. So I have to cut out all the windows. You can see they're die cut, they're stamped in place. And there's 2 walls here with a dividing line. Let me see if I yeah. There's the dividing line right here between the two walls. Each of these walls has 4 windows, and this one has a door. This piece here has one of the larger walls with 3 windows and a door. And over here are 2 of the wall pieces for the front alcove. And so I need to do a little bit of cutting. And this is not a time to try to get another mile out of an old number 11 blade. And so I will take that blade out, put it into my bottle of used sharps, which I will get rid of appropriately when this gets full, and put a new number 11 blade into my hobby knife. Alright, so we're ready for the cut between this metal straight edge and a square. I can keep my line straight, and lots of nice, easy, soft cuts is the secret here. Alright, check back with you soon when some of those cuts are made. Here we have one wall cut out, and I've cut out the 3 window openings and the 1 door opening. I've put the metal window castings in place and this door in place just so you get an idea of the color contrast between the trim and the walls. This door extends below the wall, but the foundation comes down here, so it's kind of like a ground level entrance. So it'll be a break in the foundation. It'll look fine. Alrighty, I will continue on, and probably the next update will be when I start gluing these 3 walls together. These 2 plus the one I just dropped on the floor. Alrighty, talk to you again soon. If you do try building this kit, in the box you will find 3 pieces of cardboard that are die cut, like this one. This one I have not started to cut up yet. Those are all internal bracing pieces for that mansard roof that we're going to be constructing. So I'm going to put that aside for a minute. The other 2 have these floors, one ground floor, one first floor halfway up the building, all on a similar piece of cardboard. This had been down at the bottom like this. I've cut that off. I think these are just few blocks, kind of walls, internal walls. Not 100% sure yet, so I'm putting those aside. Trying to figure out where to cut along the die stamps for the bay window area in the front was a little bit of a challenge. You go by the pictures to see what they're supposed to look like when you get done. In particular, this diagram number 3, which shows you what that protrusion should look like, and cut across those lines. And I have decided I'm not getting rid of any of the stuff that I cut off. You can see that fit like that, because tucked in here is a triangular piece that did not have to be stamped in order for me to remove it from the floor, but yet it's clearly, and here's the other one, clearly been stamped for some reason. So I would imagine those are going to be 2 peaked areas that will be used somewhere in the build, just not in the instructions up to this point. And just scanning them, I haven't found the area yet. So just words of advice, when you go to cut these out, don't throw any of the scraps away other than the little pieces from around the outside. But save everything in case you're going to need it somewhere further down the line. All you really had to do was use a number 11 knife to go over the stamped cuts. They were pretty well all the way through. A couple times lightly and get that off. And if there's any little protrusions or anything that you're worried about, as I've said in other videos, with a sanding stick you can just go over it and file off any nubs or any protrusions. So I've got the floors cut out now, and getting closer and closer to the point where I can assemble the walls. But the first thing I'm going to do here is just to take a magic marker and color these brown, and then I'll start proceeding with gluing some things together, and I will show you that process. Okay, you're going to have to pardon a little rambling here. some things that are rattling around in my old brain. You can see now that of the three main walls of the structure, I've cut out all the openings and test fitted the windows and the doors. Excuse me, and that all works fine. I also, because I'll probably put a couple lights inside this building, and even though it's not going to be near the front edge of the layout, for a couple reasons, I just thought it would be wise to darken the inside of the building, and I did that with a magic marker. Helps to keep light from bleeding through the walls, but also if anybody can see through a window, they don't see raw wood. So that just took a few seconds and not much else required. So what happens next with these three wall segments is a number of things. First of all, some bracing goes on the back side here. Brace near the bottom of each wall, just raised up enough to leave room for the base or the ground floor, which is made out of cardstock, to be glued in place. And then about halfway between these two windows, there's another one here for another floor, and those have to be glued in place, and then some vertical gluing strips on the edges. So some bracing, and quite frankly, that's almost the next thing I will do. Once that bracing is on, I will probably glue in place the all the window castings, and probably this door casting. It's the one that's full size. This is the one where the door extends down over the foundation. And I probably will not do that until I get the foundation on. So I'll be gluing some windows in, and then the window castings, and then flipping it over and put the glazing on the windows, and probably any curtains, shades, drapes, blinds that I want to add. And you do all that, in my case, before I start gluing these walls to the bases and start with that assembly. This will give you the idea of that next gluing step. You take these three full-size walls and you're going to be gluing those in place, but not on this wall. This is the wall that's made up of a lot of little pieces to give you the protrusion that comes off one side of the building. So this is kind of the step I'm approaching, and I will come back when those walls are kind of looking just like you see here and give you that update. But first, there's a few rabbit holes to go down, and one of those is the foundation. Now for the foundation, this is an old kit. Don't forget, this is a half-century old, and so it's using technology that was available at the time, and Alexander included 4 strips quarter by quarter, quarter inch by quarter inch balsa wood, which is soft and can be embossed. And they want you, and according to the instructions, is to take a sharp pencil and then draw in, and kind of like you're pressing down, so you're embossing the balsa wood to get the stone to look like that, and then you do all the coloration on it and so forth. That's old school, and I've done something similar. You've seen me build wood foundations before with wood burning tools or files or any number of things. This would just be using a sharp pencil to emboss this wood. I have seen a couple modelers on the Railroad Line Forum do that, and they ended up looking good. I've seen other options for this particular building, including casting out of either plaster or resin, foundation strips. I've used laser cut foundation strips on other buildings. But here's what I'm leaning toward here. These are 1/4 by 1/4. This is an 1/8 by 1/4 basswood strip, so it's the same height, if you want to call it the height, to get it up off the ground, the same as what the kit provided. And what I thought I might do is take some of this Hecky or Heike, however you pronounce it, foam, random cut stone, adhere it to the outside of that. It glues nicely with just white glue. All right, and then I have a base of this stonework that I can then color. And it will give me basically the same width, because this is 1/8 and that's about 1/8, so it gives me the 1/4 inch width that the original was also. So I'm gonna play around with that, and it's just one of many things that is going to make this kit take quite a while to complete. Besides that random stone, I also have, again by Hecky, brick material. I could make a brick, glue that to the outside and have a brick foundation. Probably go with the stone, but we'll see. What is becoming obvious on this build, because once these walls are together, I have to attack this wall that has the protrusion. It's going to take a bit of work. And when all that's done, you got to handle this roof, which is going to take a lot of work. This is going to be a long process, and if I try to do it justice with a film, the video, it's going to be a very, very long video. Now, I don't know about you. I watch a lot of model railroad YouTube videos. If it goes much beyond 25 minutes, one of two things happens. Either I fall asleep, or I get antsy. So this could very well be a 2, or more likely 3-part video, and I hope that you stick with it to the end to see what my end product looks like. But each video by itself will contain some modeling tips that I think are worthwhile and that you would enjoy seeing. So follow along, and we'll see how this goes. When this first part gets up to about 25 minutes, I'm going to call it quits and start filming the second video. So we'll see if this is that one or not. If it is the last part of this first video, then as always I ask you, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel, and you can continue to see me try to do justice to this very classic 50-year-old kit. It's probably, at this point, a 60-year-old kit. Alrighty, talk to you again soon.